Let me show you now a quick demo of Flex WFO. Out of the box, you are getting a huge amount of content, reports, dashboards, and metrics that have been created through our experience with working with customers all over the world to get out of the box understanding of all the key performances of your contact center when it comes to inbound, outbound, support and sales, abandoned calls, handle time, etc. You can just click here on the left menu and explore the different dashboards that are there out of the box. For example, the inbound dashboard that is showing you the inbound traffic into your contact center, the abandon rates by day of the week, by hour, what's the average abandon time, what is the average waiting time, etc. Now, every single dashboard of these can be fully customized. So we give you a huge amount of content out of the box as an inspiration. However, if you disagree with how something should be presented or even calculated, you are totally free to go and edit these dashboards, edit those metrics, change visualizations, or write your own formula. One example can be that customers do not want to count, for example, abandoned calls where their customers were waiting in the queue less than 5 seconds, so-called short abandoned. So in the definition of a abandoned calls, you can basically all the way at the metric level change this formula, and you can exclude all abandoned calls shorter than 5 seconds. So we really give you a great tool to calculate and visualize the things the way you want. Thanks to the tight integration, we are getting from Flex all the metadata that is coming our way, which means all the attributes that are available with each call. But we are also processing, with your permission, the audio. So for all the Flex calls that are actually audio calls, we are automatically mining the audio to understand how much was agent speaking, customer was speaking, how much there was crosstalk and silence, as well as offering speech analytics capabilities on top. So here in this dashboard that's focusing on handling time, I can see agents that have the longest calls, teams with the longest calls. I also see some bubble charts here that are painting for me the picture, like where are the groups of the individual calls. And here in this table, I have a list of longest calls in the last 30 days. So I have here talk time and other attributes. Let me sort this by silence. So now I'm getting basically the longest calls in the last 30 days sorted by silence. And as you see, there are some calls that are pretty long. You know, all of them have over 20 minutes. Some are even an hour, where there is over 50% of silence. Well, me being a team leader, I would love to go and being able to replay one of those calls and understand why is it that I have so much silence. With each dashboard, there's a big amount of filters that you can explore that can change the date range and filter by agent, team, queue, direction. There are dozens of attributes that you can use for filtering, and again, you can put your own filters and change the logic how filtering is done to produce the dashboards that best fit your needs. Wherever you are at a list of conversations between your agents and customers, there is a possibility to drill down into this particular conversation to show the Flex player. Now, here you basically see at the player the conversation between agent and customer. You see by blue color when agent was speaking, by green color when customer was speaking. Also, we are highlighted crosstalks here by the red color. So we are showing the areas where actually the agent didn't let customer finish and spoke over the customer, which is something we don't want to see happening in the calls. We are also highlighting large amounts of silence. So every time there is a silence more than X seconds, we are highlighting that for your attention. And as you can also see here on the second timeline here, desktop analytics gives us valuable information about what exactly was the agent doing on their screen. So for example, here when I have this big gap of silence here and here, and there I see from desktop analytics that actually Facebook was the URL that was active at the time. Instead of listening the whole call, I can put just the playhead right here and hit play.
Give me just a moment to set it in motion.
and I see that the agent asked the customer for some moment to set things in motion, while obviously we here see which screens were highlighted during the time of the 18-second silence. Furthermore, with speech analytics, which is a add-on on top of the standard Flex capabilities, you can predefine keywords and phrases you want to automatically detect in the individual calls, and that can be used for compliance, script adherence, understanding success of upsell. And that can be also used here to quickly navigate the call. So again, instead of listening to the whole call, I can just click on the particular phrase that was found and play it from there.
Thank you for calling Green Fog Appliances issue, and how can we help? Please provide your full name and address, rather, as a replacement.
Right. So another set of capabilities you can do here is that you can do commenting and assessing. So for example, I can here make a comment. Please do not use Facebook during calls. And this is something that's available as a history between the agents, team leaders, and supervisors. And what I can also do is I can select assessment, and I can select from one of the forms that I have created earlier. And I can go, and while listening to call, I can do assessment in the different areas of the call that I defined. So let me quickly assess this call. Yeah, here I'm done. And this is the quality management capabilities of Flex. You can also do this automatically using speech analytics, which I'll show you in just a moment. So this is the conversation player that basically allows you to review conversations between your agents and customers. You see the talk patterns here highlighted, the crosstalks, the silences, when agent was speaking, customer was speaking. We leverage here the desktop analytics to get a better understanding what was the agent doing during that particular time of the call. Speech analytics helps you quickly navigate through the call, and the quality management form allows you to score those particular interactions. So instead of the typical classic quality management approach, where basically you are randomly selecting calls for review and then scoring them, you can actually leverage speech analytics and other criteria to find calls that are important or interesting, or where happens something that you would like to explore, and then let your QM people or team leaders review the calls that actually, there is actually something happening that's valuable to you. Now, coming back to the main screen, here's this huge amount of dashboards and reports out of the box. One of them is a possible outcome that you can consume from speech analytics, or from automated QA. The same way that I was doing the manual QA, the system can do automated QA for you. So I can define in speech searches, for example, things that I don't want agents to say, or there is a compliance statement at the beginning of the call, or there are some statements for escalations. And basically I can have as many of those definitions as I want here. And then I can create a metric, I can create a formula where, for example, I'm mining all the calls that are outbound sales, and I'm checking if the proper introduction has been mentioned there. That, for example, the call was, that the agent said the call is being recorded. And based on that, I can auto score 100% of those conversations and provide with this metrics of where agents need attention. And in this example, there's a lot of issues the agents have in the upsell pitch. So I see that this is certainly an area that I should focus on, while two more agents are struggling in the other areas as well. And again, when I drill down into the particular area where I have issues, I get listed all the calls, all the interactions where this particular agent has those issues, and by clicking on the link to the recording, I can review this call in the player, and again try to understand the content of the call, or do additional manual scoring. Right. The last thing we would like to show you here is is the possibility to do your own reports without the need to involve IT in this. So here in the Analyze tab, we are giving you the possibility to build a report which can be further embedded into the dashboard. So, for example, I would like to understand abandoned conversations that are coming in my call center. Notice that there is this little question mark. And if you go mouse over this question mark, we basically tell you like what is this metric about and how is it defined. So even without like studying guides, you can just open the screen, and by just like reading those definitions or just like trying things around, you can try to get some reporting immediately. So let me take abandoned conversations. I'll drag this right to the middle of the screen. And now I have 170,000 abandoned calls. So obviously the first thing I want to do is I want to slice it by date. So I'm taking the date, I'm just going to drag it to the view by. Now the default grouping is per year. That's not very useful here. So let me group it by week. And now I see that I have abandoned calls by week for the past about a year. Now this area, that's Christmas 2017. That's too much in the past, so I'm not interested in that. So in the date filter, I will only take a look at the last 90 days. So I'm selecting last 90 days and apply. So I'm only focusing on abandoned calls in the last 90 days. And now again, like this information might be a little incomplete because if I don't know in which queue are those calls being abandoned, it's hard to take some next steps. So here from this like vast amount of measures and attributes, let me search for queue. So here it is. I take queue and I put it to the stack by. And now this report is stacked by queue. And I see that there's a lot of queue that I have in the system, but one is outstanding, and that's the customer service. So I see that very clearly. Customer service is the one queue where I'm getting the most abandons pretty much consistently over the last 90-day period. And since I created this insight, I can name it and save it. So let's say abandon by queue last 90 days. And I can save it. I could add additional filters here, so I could filter this by team, by limit only certain queues, etc. If I want to filter by anything, I just drag it right here. And obviously there's a lot of different visualizations available for any of my insights. And then what I can do is I can take this particular report, insert it into the dashboard, add additional KPIs, as well as capabilities around exporting to Excel or scheduling those reports by email. So this is really intended for the business user who wants to be able to consume the built-in report as well as create some reporting on their own.